So I ask of you, to what end? Do you dread it? Do you wait for it? Destiny arrives the same on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. So yes, I have the 4K UHD Blu-ray version. Big thanks to Amazon for giving me a credit. So I only end up paying $14 for this movie. So the wait was worth it. Thank you, Thanos. Amazon. Only $14. This will be a video recorded in 1440p. This will be a long video of 22 minutes. We'll do a variety of tests. As you can see, I got my Oppo UDP-203. There's the disc. There's the Cinematic Universe Edition. And there you go. So obviously, this video will be in 3 different parts. First part is going to be a comparison between Sony X900e versus TCL R617. This is a Sony X900e. And this right here, it's TCL R617, as you can see it, with thick bezels. So we'll first do comparison of Infinity War Avengers between X900e and TCL R617. So without any further ado, let's jump right into this because I only have 22 minutes. Alright, first thing first, I purposely use the full screen to show you this on a 55-inch. I don't recommend that you crop and that you use the fit to screen full screen version. I'm just using this as a demo so I can give you some insight on what I am seeing in terms of the HDR. I don't recommend that you watch it this way. I recommend that you watch the movie in its original ratio. Now, the Oppo UDP-203 has the options where you can crop the movie and you can fit it to full screen, just like the Stars and the HBO and all these other networks do. But you will be missing some scenes from the left to the right. I'm only doing this for the demo purposes. This is not the IMAX version. This is just me showing you a movie in this ratio so that way you can see it in full screen. The reason I'm showing you this specific scene where Thanos is turning left to right and the Thor, it's right down at the bottom, it's because the HDR. This right here, the HDR on this scene, and I want to point this out. Look at this smoke, the vapor smoke that's coming out. Look at my fingers. This is something that you will notice with the HDR. Why? Because of the contrast ratio, peak brightness, and a wider color gamut. The second thing you will notice is the fact that this movie has a higher bitrate. The reason you can see HDR in this detail and this smoke coming out, it's because the 4K UHD Blu-ray, it's encoded at a higher bitrate than 1080p. And it's a 2K. This is a 2K intermediate upscale to 4K. Now, when you have a 2K intermediate upscale to 4K, that means you're going to get even more higher resolution detail on this movie. And these are the key things that people don't seem to understand as to why you need to upgrade from Blu-ray to 4K. Not only do you have a higher bitrate, not only do you have a higher count of pixels on the resolution, but at the same time, you're getting this HDR. Now, in order for you to appreciate the HDR, it is really important to play this movie on a really good TV. And you will be surprised how similar the Sony X900e is with a TCL R617. So I'll keep this scene like this, and then we're going to jump into TCL R617 actually right now. And here we are now with TCL R617. Please keep in mind, TCL R617, it's a budget 4K HDR TV, but the technology that's built inside this budget 4K TV, it's really a premium quality. Why? The NBP photon technology. Just look how the color pops right here on the NBP photon technology. And just look how much that 96 local dimming zones helps on this TCL R617. So which one does it look the best? Here's what I'm trying to say. I love my Sony X900e. I love technology that's built inside of it. You know, Sony X900e, it's more than just the color gamut, peak brightness. It has an endless amount of picture tweaks and settings that you can walk around to calibrate your TV. Has a lot of goodies built inside. But you're looking at $1,000 for Sony X900e. Here, you're looking at $600. And, you know, for a budget TV, you also get a Dolby Vision, which Sony X900e doesn't have. Here, you get Dolby Vision and HDR. And to me, that's a pretty big deal, you know, that you can get both Dolby Vision and HDR for the $600, including full array local dimmings, 96 local dimming zones, which really show up right here. I mean, just look at the smoke coming, the vapor coming out. Look at my fingers. You clearly can see it. You're going to have a hard time seeing this on a 1080p Blu-ray version, which I'm going to do in my next video. So let's go switch to another scene, a brighter scene. This will be a spoiler-free. I'm not going to spoil anything here. Okay, I have to walk around the eggshells. Even with this, I don't know how I'm going to be able to upload this video with the Disney and Marvel. So I'm really trying to make everyone happy. So I'm really working hard in this video. All right, let's move on to the next scene. I will jump back to Sony X900e again. All right, this is a very interesting scene. I want you guys to keep an eye on his armor and the way that vibrant strobe, whatever that light is in the background, it's overshadowing his armor. The reason you can see all of this, the reason you can see him shining that armor with the light over reflecting that armor, you can see all of these things because you have a really good HDR television. You got 96 local dimming zones. You got NBP photon technology built into it that brings a higher color spectrum, wider color spectrum of colors, meaning you got more spectrum of colors, which will bring this HDR to life. And on top of that, you have 2K resolution with a higher bit rate than the Blu-ray upscaled to 4K. It's a 2K intermediate upscaled to 4K, even though it was shot with a 6K camera, okay? But still, this is what 4K HDR Blu-ray does. Now let's switch off to this is a TCL R617. This is a budget 4K TV. I want you to keep that in mind. This is a $600 TV. Now let's go switch on to the Sony X900e right now with the same scene. All right, so here we are on the Sony X900e. As you can see, it's really not that far apart from TCL R617. Now, people ask me, well, what type of mode do you use to watch movies on Sony X900e? And I recommend Cinema Home. Cinema Home, it's really calibrated for the movies. It gives you that nice tone of color that it's necessary for the movie, the way the director intended the movie to look. And as you can see, you see so much detail. I mean, look at that vapor, that smoke that's blowing out. You're going to have a hard time seeing this on the Blu-ray. I mean, you will see it, but it will be more blurry. There's a certain sharp of detail that comes out in 4K UHD Blu-ray version. And it's kind of hard for me to depict that with the camera. You'll just have to trust me. It looks much better. So I recommend that you use Cinema Home picture mode with Sony X900e. And with TCL, I will show you in a minute what I use with the TCL R617. So let's jump into another scene where we get to see Thanos in a much brighter light. Again, I'm trying to do this as spoiler-free because I want you guys to enjoy this movie. You know, that's what I'm trying to do here. Now, this is a very good scene. This scene truly shows you how much high dynamic range and full array of local dimming really helps right here. This is what you're missing with the HDR. You're missing this depth of picture. You know, it feels almost three-dimensional. Look at the light, the way it reflects on the helmet of Thanos, and the way the light overshadows with a flare effect across his face. All of these elements truly bring this movie to life on a 4K UHD Blu-ray version. You're not going to see this on the Blu-ray. Strip away the HDR, strip away the bitrate, strip away the 2K resolution, and you're only left with a lousy bitrate and a 1080p. With a 4K UHD Blu-ray version, not only do you get the 4K UHD Blu-ray version movie, but you also get the Blu-ray version as well. You get 2 discs on top of the digital code that you can use to take it with you and watch it wherever you want. There's a huge advantage of buying a 4K UHD physical media disc. Plus, you get to own the movie. It's on a disc. It's yours. Okay, there's a monumental value on having a 4K UHD Blu-ray disc movie. Now let's go switch to TCL R617. I'm going to show you what I'm using on TCL R617. It's a pretty cool feature. I don't know how many of you knew about this feature, and I think this is what makes the TCL R617 very appealing for entry-level 4K television enthusiasts. Somebody who would like to step in from the 1080p to 4K. TCL R617, it's really recommended, man. Now let me go ahead, let me show you. Let's jump into the TCL R617 right now. And here, as you can see, TCL R617, it's really not that much different in picture quality in comparison to Sony X900e. This is why I keep recommending everyone, hey man, if you really want to jump into 4K, but you don't want to spend too much money, I'm telling you, your best choice, it's TCL R617. Not only do you get 2 HDR formats, but you get a really cool technology called NBP photon technology, which gives you a wider spectrum of colors, also commonly known as wide color gamut. They're measuring the color space. And on top of that, the contrast ratio is really good. You're getting 96 local dimming zones, close to 100 on a 55-inch TV. That's pretty darn great for a budget TV of $600. Okay? On top of the all 3 HDMIs support the pass-through. They're all pass-through HDR. And on top of that, you have a Roku 4K HDR Dolby Vision built in. That Roku Ultra that has both HDR and Dolby Vision built in. And who knows, maybe they're going to do Dolby Atmos firmware update on this thing. You never know. So this is, I mean, honestly, if you're going to ask me right now, yeah, TCL R617, I highly recommend this TV. Why? Because of the price, man. You really can't beat the price. I love Sony, but Sony doesn't have, on X900e, it doesn't have Dolby Vision. This thing has Dolby Vision. Sony X900e, it's still a great TV. It has a lot of cool features with the X1 processing chip that you can do. But when you look at the price, I would like to save $400. Maybe buy a console with that $400 with the television. I don't know. I'm just simply saying. I'm talking to you as a regular guy. I'm not sponsored. I'm just telling you. Seems to me the TCL R617 is the only logical, common sense choice to go with. Another great example. It's right here. Just look at that color gamut. Look at that HDR. Look at the deep dark levels. Look what this television is doing. Yes, granted, I am using a Oppo UDP-203. Yes, granted, I am using a Belkin ultra high speed cable. Sure, a really good quality 4K player with a Belkin UHD ultra high speed cable that transfers the data really quicker and faster than the original HDMI or 2.0. Sure, that will help get you that best possible HDR and bitrate. But let me show you what I'm using on TCL really quick in terms of picture quality. Remember, on Sony X900e, I'm using Cinema Home, which I recommend. Here, I'm going to show you what I'm using on TCL R617. Natural Cinema. This is what I'm using, guys. Natural Cinema. This is what I usually use for my movie experience. And Natural Cinema has a built-in processor that actually automatically detects and automatically calibrates the picture of that format of that movie that you're watching. And I can't highly recommend enough you using the natural cinema mode. Just use a natural cinema mode for the movies and a game mode for the games. And even on this scene, you will see just how well the HDR it's presented with the colors, peak brightness, deep dark levels. My camera here, it's really not doing it justice. Even though I'm using a really good camera, GoPro Hero 6, with the highest possible bitrate with 1440p. The reason I'm doing a 1440p, it's so that you guys can see this comparison a little bit longer, okay? Let's go switch to Sony X900e back again, shall we? And I'll talk about Sony X900e a little bit more. So here we are on Sony X900e. As you can see, it really looks as equal as TCL R617, but there's some other accolades that Sony X900e has. Obviously, Sony X900e has much better motion flow. It has the X1 processing chip that gives you more ability to adjust the picture settings the way you want. There's plenty of tweaks that you can do with Sony. I mean, there's plenty of stuff here that you can use to utilize your picture the way you want, from picture adjustments to, right now I have it on Cinema Home mode, but if I was to go to like the color, here, let me show you. Once I go to the advanced settings, there's endless of things you can do with the color temperature, advanced color temperature. So if you have a calibration equipment, if you're a professional calibrator and you got the calibrating equipment, your professional calibrator will definitely appreciate and love the fact that you have all these options available for them to utilize the best possible and tweak the best possible calibration settings for your TV. Okay, so one accolade of Sony is the X1 processing chip, and of course the amount of picture settings that you have available on the Sony. So of course Sony, it's a better TV, there's no question about that, but you're paying a premium price. You're paying $1,000. Me personally, I would recommend, if you're gonna go with the Sony, go with the Sony 930e. With the 930e, you will get two HDR formats. I cannot recommend somebody buying a TV without having two HDR formats. You gotta have Dolby Vision and HDR. That's a mandatory to me. You gotta have that. Okay, so I would highly recommend that you guys get a Sony 930e. Sony 930e, which also has a better processing chip, X1 Extreme. So therefore you will get even better motion flow. You'll get even better picture quality as well. So I'm using home cinema for Sony X900e, and for the TCL R617, TCL, I'm using a natural cinema mode. They're both cinema modes. I would highly recommend that you use home cinema mode for Sony X900e and that you use a natural cinema mode for TCL R617. Well, there you have it, guys. Hopefully you like this 20-minute video. This is my first video. My next video is going to be an interesting one. We're going to jump into Samsung KS8000. Yes, it is time that I jump into Samsung KS8000 to revisit these same scenes. Now, why am I using the same loop, the same scenes? The reason I'm using these scenes is because I was given specific instructions by my partners and also by Disney and Marvel as to what I can show. Okay, and I'm using a fair use here. I'm not monetizing this video. I will not profit any money. All the proceeds will go towards its rightful owner, meaning towards the Marvel Studio and Disney. Okay, which actually I don't live far from Disney, as a matter of fact. But anyway, Buena Vista. Having said that, I'm not profiting any money from this. I'm taking zero fee, nothing. All of it will go to Marvel and Disney and Thanos, Josh Brolin. All right, well, there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'm really excited to see how much Samsung KS8000 has aged and how it will look. I can't wait to see it. And then we'll do the projector after that. Don't forget, tomorrow, Deadpool 2 Supercut. We're going to jump into that as well. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next video. Take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.